Trojan Sports Now.
Hello and welcome back to Trojan Sports Now. For this week's Trojan Profile, I'm joined by the baseball head coach, Bobby Pierce. So, Coach, thank you so much for joining me today.
Good to be here, Amy.
Well, Coach, you've been at Troy since 2003. How has your time been here at the university?
Oh, Amy, I tell you, I could answer that forever. It's been great. I tell a lot of people, I've seen more growth at Troy University in those 13 years as a whole, university, athletic department, baseball program. It's just been amazing what all has transpired. And for me personally, Troy, the Troy community, the Trojan Nation, all of that has been awesome. The administration, the athletic department, as we go through this in my final season, I don't have anything but the highest praise for everybody that I've associated with, worked with, coached. Been an amazing run. I think the best, I've heard Coach Blakeney say this, and I agree 100%. I think the best is still yet to come for Troy University, Troy athletic programs. And I say that with all sincerity. I've just seen the leadership and the growth, the competitiveness that is required to continue to build a winning university, a successful university, along with a winning and successful athletic department.
Now, you've been here for 13 years. What have you learned about baseball, and what have you learned about being a coach?
Oh gosh, a lot. In my 13 years here, I think probably one of the main things that I've enjoyed is trying to continue to build a tradition-rich baseball program, continue to build that out at the highest level of amateur baseball, Division I. And, a lot of things come under that. Facility improvements, fan support, and obviously great players that can have success, on the field. And, in our program, we want our players to be just as successful off the field and in the classroom as on the field. And we've been able to, I think, build a program that's on a solid foundation and, graduating kids out into their careers and their lives and their family lives and all that's what's next for college students. And many of those, through professional baseball and, for some they've made it to the big league level. For most, as we know the numbers, how they work, are going to fall back on their time at Troy, their degree that builds out their careers. So, I learn from the kids every day. Things are changing, and you got to change with the times. You still need some old school roots in there of discipline and determination, but you also have to understand where today's kid is at and, what motivates him or her if you're coaching a female. And so I think it's always a learning process. I think every day is a learning process.
And now in your time, is there a memory or memories that stand out to you just of, a great time here at Troy?
Oh, there's a lot of those too. A lot of those. There's special moments sprinkled, all the way through. One that comes to my mind right away is when we had Nate Moore as our closer, and Nate led the country in ERA that season, and he edged out Jared Weaver, who is a Major League All-Star every year. And, I can remember when that season was over, I was sitting around with the coaches, and we were talking about, man, how great that was to watch a guy dominate at the level that it led the entire country in a category. And I remember saying to our coaches, I say, cherish this moment because you may never see that happen again. And we had 6 in a row to do it. So we became the only Division I program that had 6 consecutive national award winners, and each one of those guys in each one of those seasons was just as special as the one before. And so special memories, there's so many I can't possibly talk about them all, but that obviously was a very special thing. Special to me was when we got the go-ahead and the green light through a lot of hard work from a lot of people, a lot of community support, in kind of redevising and renovating Riddle Pace Field into what it is today. Even getting onto the synthetic turf to play baseball on, which I never ever thought that I would do. And so it's special now that we made that critical decision at the time, and it worked out so well for us, because at the time that we did that, it added another layer of uniqueness to our facility and our program, that when kids came from all over the Southeast to play in these tournaments in the summer and all, it was unique. It was something they would remember. Facility improvements, obviously a big highlight, and championship teams that your brother Thomas played on. And I mean, all those things are just, there's so many of those special moments and memorable moments. I couldn't possibly go through them unless we had 2 or 3 hours, I guess.
And now, Coach, this season, was your last season, and you were close to Chase Riddle's record, and then you broke it. What did that mean to you?
Well, those kind of records are longevity records. And those kind of records mean that you've been surrounded by great coaches and great players. Coach Riddle set that record in 12 seasons, which everybody knows his legendary status and the fabulous teams that he had and the national championships they won and the others they played for. I mean, that record, Coach Riddle, for all of us that knew him, really knew him, is on a pedestal and will always be on that pedestal. He's a man that early in my career was always willing to share baseball thoughts and things that would help us young coaches develop into the coaches we would soon become. So our admiration for Coach Riddle is so high that when that time came, that's just a longevity thing. It's just, if you're there long enough, it's probably going to happen. But when that time really was almost inevitable that it was going to happen, it was really weird for me. I wasn't like, I did not want to break that record. I just didn't want to do it because of the respect and admiration I had for Coach Riddle. But a special moment about that day was when Coach Riddle's wife Betty and his 2 daughters were here on that day at that game, supporting me and my coaching staff and this team, and really the teams of the last 13 years. They were in full support of all of that. And I do think they enjoyed the day as much as all of us that were involved with it enjoyed the day. So, I'm sure down the road that may mean more to me, but it's still a struggle currently on what all it meant at that time. But I think the main thing about all that is that clearly states that Troy University, our leadership here, our athletic department leadership, the coaches that I've been surrounded with over those years, and certainly the great players, the fans. I mean, you need all of that to see a day like that come true. So it was a special day.
Now, when you started coaching, did you ever expect that to happen?
Oh no. I've always been. The next day is the most important day. Get up in the morning, look forward to what's on the schedule for that day. I've always liked developing players at practice as much as competing in the games. I don't. I have blinders on. I stay focused on the moment, the next pitch. All the baseball things that are true. And for me, I grind on that so hard that it's kind of a blessing and a curse. Meaning, I think it's part of the reason that I've had some success in my career, but it's also been detrimental when I can't get away from it. And I think a lot of people in their careers fall in that category. I certainly do. But no, I never envisioned that. As a matter of fact, I never keep up with those numbers or anything like that, not until somebody says something about that. Do I really know it's about to happen? And, like before this season, I knew we were 15 wins away from that. And I knew we were probably going to win 15 games. But it wasn't until we won the Saturday doubleheader that I knew now that day could happen tomorrow, because I just get really focused on, the next task at hand.
And Coach, this is your last season as head coach. Did you approach this season any differently, at the start, knowing that this was your last season?
I think there's a lot of truth to that. Not that I tried to approach it differently, but each day, like I said, I enjoy the practice days in the fall. The players don't love those as much as I do, but I enjoy all those days of developing players and seeing them progress, hopefully getting them to the point where in the spring they'll be successful. I noticed early on in that process, because we did announce to the team, like their first couple of days in Troy, we announced that this would be my final season, and then that Coach Smart would be taking over the program. So from that day forward, I kind of saw things a little differently. Not intentionally, it's just the way that it happened. And I could feel myself wanting to really enjoy the young men that were playing that year. And we do have a fabulous group for me to enjoy. And so it was different in a very good way, not something that I imagined that I wanted to happen or anything like that. It was just a clearer picture of each day, because I knew after that day was complete, it would be the last of that day in my coaching career. So it's definitely been both a different vision and in a good way.
And now you're halfway through the conference season. So looking towards the last half of the season, what kind of feelings come with that, knowing this is your last year?
Oh, I think every day there's some emotions running through. Most all of those are very positive, because I can kind of feel that end point now. And when a season starts, 56 games, that's a long, grinding haul. And in our sport, we just play longer and more games than most other sports do. So there has to be an even keel to be consistent in what you're doing over that length of time and that many games. But it has been, now that we're past the halfway point of the regular season, we are at the halfway point of the conference season. Yeah, I'm starting to feel the end a little bit, again in a good way, not in a bad way. I like the way that our team has surged here recently on our weekend series, and we do have some really tough weekend conference series coming up. But it's been a fun time, and yes, with 5 weeks remaining, I'm starting to see the finish line of mixed emotions about how I'm really going to feel at that time.
And then this too being your last season and having your son coach along with you, what does that mean to you?
Oh man, it means everything, and the timing of all of this and the script you would have to write. I mean, it just couldn't be. You couldn't write the script on this. The fact that he played for me here, and knowing that very, very few Division I baseball coaches ever have that opportunity to have their son playing for them. I think that number would decrease to very, very few on son played for you, son became an All-American, son signed a professional contract, and son coached for you. So I think all of us in the family will cherish all of that for many years to come. But the way this final layer happened was just a very coincidental thing. When my volunteer coach, C.J. Wamsley, who the volunteer job is an entry-level job on the college level. C.J. had been with us 3 years. Usually a guy wants to stay maybe 2. So he was really, searching for a job, and he found one at the University of Ohio, which is 90 minutes from his hometown. So he and his wife got to go be back home, and he got a full-time paid job that he was looking for. And in January, it's hard to replace a coach, and we just happened to have Logan there that was available and something he had dreamed of doing, and it's like a dream come true.
Well, Coach, thank you so much for joining me today, and I wish you all the best of luck in the rest of the season, and congratulations on breaking the record.
Thank you so much, Amy. It's been awesome, and I've enjoyed every interview with you.
I'm glad. And stick around for more Trojan Sports Now. We'll have a preview of what's coming up in Troy Athletics.